Hello and happy Wednesday. You are on the Heart of Success show, and I'm your host, Larissa Vakulina. I go live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. South Australian time. And here on the Heart of Success show, I share tips, tools, methods, experience, wisdom, and redefining success that is mostly considered to be a accumulation of wealth, some favors, or creating roles and positions. But here I discuss all different areas of the life and how you too possibly can utilize different tips to create success in all areas of your life. Today, I decided to speak and share with you about the immigration journey. Australia is a multicultural country. And actually, I just was researching, and statistics about how many people migrated to Australia is very staggering. So, Australia has the world's eighth largest immigration population, with immigrants accounting for 30% of the population, a higher proportion than any other nations with a population over 10 million people. So the most migrants are highly skilled people, but also there is a supportive visas that, of course, allowed for families and relatives to join that skilled person. So I only can speak from my own experience. Back 28 years ago, 1994, my family decided to migrate to Australia because we had my ex-husband had distant relatives that migrated back from in 50s from China to Australia, and he visited them back in 90s for holiday. And back then in Russia, there was a deep crisis, both political and economical. And so all migrants, when they decided to move to another country, they have just one dream. That dream is to actually have much safer and much more wider opportunities to pursue their calling, and provide for children a wider opportunities to actually build their futures without any violence or without any conflicts and problems that the country of origin normally have. So that was my experience as well, and we didn't escape the chaos of the crises, but we thought that that would be a decision to create a safe environment for our children, and also to actually pursue our own dream. So when we migrated as a family, my ex-husband need to go back into Russia to save his businesses, basically in 1 month, and my rosy-colored glasses fall when I actually faced the reality of not being able to communicate, and also uh, not being recognized with my degree from my country. So I basically needed to start from zero. And first of all, of course, I just throw myself into learning English and communicating. So in 1 year time, I decided that once my qualification as an engineer economist of the urban systems was not recognized, I thought that I need to have new country education. So I enrolled myself and I threw myself into this Masters of Business Administration degree course, which of course was so challenging because of my limited language and my limited understanding of the new country customs and new country culture, but at the same time, my desire to adapt and assimilate in a new country, to provide for children and create for them a new reality in this newer country was so great that I went through all the challenges of study at the university and obtaining the new degree with a limited communication skill. I thought it was limited, but my accent actually was not a problem. It was more of a benefit because, of course, Australia is a international multicultural country, and so most of the students in all universities are coming from overseas. So I felt that this country have these very equal and very wide opportunities for anyone who is coming from overseas to here, and pursuing and also dedicating themselves to find the place in this society and contribute into the social economical development of this country. So for me, it was a little bit interesting dynamics while I was not recognized as an engineer economist from my country of origin. I finished and completed my MBA program from the University of Adelaide, from the Business School of Adelaide. And then I faced the reality that most of the employers have been having trouble to provide employment for me because they considered to me as too much, right? I was overeducated, I was overqualified, and of course, not having any experiences in the Western economies, I had a trouble to actually find the job. And so I was just taking stock of my skills and knowledge and my own personality. I didn't really want to settle for something that is not equivalent of my quality education and the inspirational and motivational progress that I wanted to create for myself. So I decided that I'm gonna to pursue the path of the entrepreneur, and I created a business, family business, that was involved in export and import of the agricultural products. So that business existed and still exists, but I'm not involved in that anymore for 15 years, and it was a very spectacular, successful growth. But what I wanted to address today is something that migrants always hold, these hopes and dreams that when they come to a new country, they of course would have much better life, and they would have wider chances to find themselves and create something amazing for their life and for their families. But at the same time, it is really a journey that is having its own very, very deep and huge challenges. And most of the migrants are divided into three categories of, adapting very quickly and settling in something that is most likely maybe not matching their education or their set of skills, but they need to survive and they need to just supply the family, and they go to take any jobs that are available on the market. There's another group that really not adapting easily. They struggling, they not assimilating, they having emotional trouble to accept the way the new country is living and doing things. So that's unfortunate group of people that most likely maybe would return back to their country of origin, but mostly these people are playing low with maybe some unemployment or and again, there's no judgment about it. It's only that I'm stating the level of the emotional challenges that each immigrant is going through. And there's another group that is constantly striving for the growth and development. They constantly learning, they constantly looking at the ways to adapt themselves and be flexible to accept the new life of living, the new life of the new country, the new customs, the new habits, the new expressions, and all of it. So that was my journey. When I actually finished my MBA program, I was faced with a decision of what I'm going to do, and the disappointment of being rejected for some time and not being accepted by the employers to actually trust me and employ me in accordance and to the equivalent of my quality education was very, very hard. But I didn't want to settle on something less, and I created the business that was functioning and growing very, very quickly. So again, there's no judgment. Everyone goes through own choices and through own passes that they choose. But with migration, it is really become an interesting topic right now around the world because, of course, some countries and some parts of the world are really, challenging to live without having any concern about safety and about peace and about living a very, just a normal human life. So, and then of course, there's countries that are having a very hard, difficult immigration laws. And for example, in Australia, we have a very restricted and very limited immigration policies that are having quotas of how many people can migrate to Australia, and also, of course, different categories of visas required a very thorough and very deep evaluation of who is actually coming. But the rate of the population in Australia has increased since the mid-20s. And due to the migration, that was the main driving force for the increase of the population. And it was 64% of the increase by 2017. By 2018, Australia's population had increased to 25 million people, right? So, and the hopes and dreams and inspiration of migrants are actually helping to the social and economical development of this country. And regardless of what path each immigrant takes, it is their own journey, and it is respected. As my experience of being in this country, the choice has been unlimited, but at the same time I also experienced I would not say it is discrimination, but I also experienced a way of not accepting immigrants and women into the leading and management positions. So that was my personal experience. And of course, being too much for the employers, I decided that I possibly can contribute not only to the economy of one country, but I can contribute to the economies of two countries. So I created a business, export import, between my country of origin and Australia, and it was a absolutely amazing journey of creating international trade and growing in this business. So I just would like to have a short show today, and would like to finalize my episode today by saying that I'm writing my book, and I'm expressing and sharing my experiences in the different areas of my life back in my country, and the way I migrated, the way I experienced assimilation here, and how that played for me, and then how I end up to be creating an amazing business and helping a lot of people and employ many people in my business. And basically, this is all gonna be in my book, and anyone who is following or gonna to come across this show possibly can look forward to have my to read my book. And so there's going to be many other chapters of explaining my inner outer experiences that possibly can help not only the migrants or immigrants, but also any woman that is feeling that there is some kind of erroneous beliefs about gender, about her having trouble to establish herself in the workforce, or within the economical structures or the government structures. And so I really think that the issue of equality between men and women still exists to this day. Although, of course, with a development and progress of the humanity and growth, we have lesser and lesser degree this gap, but at the same time we still hold and keep within ourselves, in the deep corners of our psyche, the difference between men and women in a form that it is plays a negative impact on the workforce, on the productivity, effectiveness, on the expression for both men and women. It's not necessarily only just women to suffer from that. It is both ways, and it is both in personal relationships, and it is in business or professional relationships. So in my book, I'm exploring this dynamics of how we still hold these concepts that men superior and women are inferior, how and why we still hold it, how and why we consciously understand that we are equal, but that deep pieces that we still hold within ourselves are still playing role, and both genders are involved in creating this disbalance. Not only that man is assuming that because they are physically stronger, they have power over all others who are weaker physically, but women are also playing role here, because many times we ourselves don't want to take self-responsibility, and we need somebody who is an authority and take responsibility for us, or make decisions for us, and make help us to go through life, right? But these dynamics are really then taking toll on our emotional states, on our psychological and spiritual states, because it is not a full total potential that we can reach if we allow this dynamic to be playing within ourselves. So I really would like to invite you to contemplate on these pieces of equality in both genders, and so just contemplate on it in your own life, how that possibly can play within your personal life, or your business life, or your professional life. And if you have a little bit of doubt that you are fully, totally achieve and reach your full potential of self-governing your life, and you have full, total fulfillment and happiness about what you do, how you do it, well, then you resolve all of these pieces within yourself. But if there is a little doubt and a little conflict within the relationship, regardless personal or a business, it plays the same way. Then, of course, there's pieces are there that still driving your life in a very limited and blocked way, because that's really not helping you to achieve your full potential. I would like to see the comments here. MJ, thank you so much to be here again. It is important to stick to your principles. Absolutely. I mean, principles needs to be also reviewed and evaluated, what these principles are based on, because of these very primitive values that our early humanity was basing their existence. The physical strength, for example, was the only one dominating aspect of the physical life and existence. Well, then of course both men and women accepted that back then, but since that time we have many other values that both genders are now need to apply to themselves, because strength is now not necessarily a main value to stick to, right? And so it is a matter of individual evaluation of its own inner pieces in terms of where I'm at. Am I taking full responsibility for my decisions? Am I not competing, or am I not seeing myself as a slaving to man? But what I'm observing in a lot of families, in a lot of businesses, women are still considering themselves and accepting themselves to be in a supportive and submissive roles. So that's something that needs to be addressed. Yes, knowing what you want is, of course, a very, very fundamental in these examinations. So the gender gap is a serious subject. Absolutely. It seems like we growing, we developing, we having quantum leaps in our consciousness, but the gap is still very wide. Although, of course, we sorted out a lot of the primal and primitive attitudes towards men and women, but at the same time, as I explained, it sits in a very deeper corners of the psyche, both men and women. That division, a difference is something that needs to be reflected in our life. Well, the only difference is this physiological, really. And once the strengths become not necessary, well, then the values of the emotional support, of the emotional maturity, the value of the mental alignment with that emotional maturity, the value of the psychological health, the value of the spiritual connection become so important. And that's what I'm observing right now in our society, that, we outgrow the physical value of the strengths needed to be for survival, but we're not yet closer to the emotional maturity to understand that we all have a uniqueness and our own individuation and independence to express ourselves as a one individuum with all the ability and capacity to create, uh, to do the job, perform, and also have the rights to be rewarded and supported in the same way as men. So I think this is an interesting, of course, subject that needs to be. And Julie, hello, thank you for being here. As the old system and the patriarchal society crumble away, humanity will transform. Absolutely. It is already transforming, and it is already on a way of start to get all of these hidden pieces that are still sitting there in our psyche into the surface and start to be dealt with in a very healthy way, so that men also need to start to understand that only physical strength doesn't allow them to be overriding and overlooking the qualities, the same creative qualities in women, right? So both genders needs to start to accept and understand that they need to start to work within their own system with all of this distorted fundamental pieces that are sitting in our psyche, and it plays the role unwittingly. It plays the role unconsciously. Most of the time we don't even have this conscious understanding sometimes of how we play in it within relationship and within our professional and personal interactions. So I would like to finalize today. So I wanted to do it 10 minutes ago, but I'm just carrying on and carrying on, because it's a big subject. And of course, the subject of migration, immigration is something that is changing dramatically with everything that happening in our world right now. So all the rules and borders are become more tighter, whereas it has to actually dissolve in the future, I hope, in a very close future. I hope that humanity will start to understand that we are all same. We all have the same needs and the same inspirations and same desire to live our life in a happy, fulfilled, joyful, healthy way. So I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next week on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Julie, I hear a quote yesterday: "Man protects his woman not because she is weak, but because she is important." Well, you see, this is like it started to have all of this information, and also our own behaviors, our own decisions. We start to lead the way that we all start to get out of this confusion that is still sit in our energy consciousness system. So we are getting out of that confusion and start to sort out of these things. Women start to take responsibilities, not only for the materialistic way of independent living, but also emotional, psychological, mental, and spiritual. So this is important. And when men and women will sort out all of these distorted and outdated values that they've been living by for aeons, well, it will be a very balanced society where the relationships will be taking completely different form. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next Wednesday. And now is a little bit of music.